trip to the semifinals, and it's going to start off here with the Lance getting banned away.
Yeah, Lance ban on A side is becoming a little bit of a popular one, while Samuel on B as well. These teams really don't want these heroes going through because they just do so much with pace setting, and they're really kind of unpredictable in how they're going to actually fare. But the Adagio coming through, he is a very predictable pick.
Yeah, at least not leaving open that double heal composition that we've seen a couple times here at the European Championships. But look at me on the clock now. We'll see what he decides to go with. Lyra is still available. So is the Finn. It is going to be the Lyra pick.
Yeah, the Lyra coming through on the side of Tsunami. It's no surprise there. However, this is the team that tends to pick a lot of wild, crazy comps. We hear a lot of whispers of maybe potential Jules or maybe Koshka again in the scene. I don't know what they're going to do, but I do like the fact that they'd like to take this double hill. We split it up on both sides. And once again, we talked about this with the Skye and Lyra on the same team. Bright Bulwark does not stop Skye from doing what she likes to do, and that's move around quickly in team fights.
Yeah, and so now back over to Snow Avalanche. Again, a lot of strong picks still available. You still have the Arden, you still have the Finn available for your roamers. We have seen a couple teams flex the Adagio down to the roam, but it looks like Snow Avalanche, they're not going to give Look At Me a chance on that Koshka. They're taking it away.
They did take it away, and with the Adagio, this could be a very powerful combo of pressure in the early game. We are not sure yet if Adagio will be in a roam position or carry. We'll find out here shortly what they want to run into Tsunami. Of course, Tsunami getting the counter pick. This is going to be a pretty important pickup, and it is the Vox, so it looks like we'll the Adagio to the roam position most likely.
Yeah, and there's going to be a Krull to answer. So Adagio and Lyra, both first picks for their respective teams, both going to end up in the roamers' hands as we go ahead and get into this game.
Well, I think they did such a good job. We're going to bring him back.
Put them ahead, and the seat says so as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, coming in out of the Challenger Series, I don't think a lot of people gave Avalanche the credit that they actually deserve. All of these players have played on the main stage. Going back into Autumn Season Championships, things have just been remixed a little bit. But both of these teams, they know each other incredibly well, and I'm sure this is going to be another great series.
Oh, I can definitely see this one being another 3-game series. I don't know if our voices are going to cope. I don't know if yours is going to last the whole series, Humanist.
It's all right. It's all right. We've got some drops and energy drinks. We're going to make it. Together, we can do it.
Oh, together, I believe. So I think this is going to be very interesting. We've not seen many Voxes picked up, and I wouldn't have said they've done that well, but Waldemar on a Vox is a hero that he's very comfortable on, but in the early game against the Skye, I just don't see him being too aggressive.
Yeah, it's tough to say. You know, honestly, like, as I look at these compositions, I gotta say I do favor Snow Tsunamis.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's just you got the Lyra. Bright Bulwark is so good up against the Koshka. Now, assuming that Kentusik's going to try to play around that, but if that goes down in the middle of a team fight, that really shuts down that Koshka.
You know, for me, I'm seeing all the heroes, all the players playing comfort picks, and I think that Koshka and the Adagio in the jungle together, 2v2, it could be very devastating for Look At Me, who, you know, really doesn't have that early game power that Krull has, and he's going to struggle against her. So I think that's going to be, I think I'm going to give Snow Avalanche definitely the early game.
Dang! All right, we're disagreeing. Okay, that's all right. It's going to be just fine. Bastion eating a bit of damage. Salsiska trading back and forth here. Now, we actually don't see the roam Adagio too much. It's come out a couple times here in Europe. And I don't know if that's just a trend here in this scene, but we haven't seen it across the board that much.
Yeah, we've not seen it in a few seasons. And I've got to agree with you. It's not something I've seen particularly much. We've seen it a lot in EU so far. And I'm just not feeling the roam Adagio. I feel like it does really well early to mid, but late game, he definitely falls off a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I wonder if it's almost just picked up immediately as a way to get it off the table, so, you know, your opponent's not putting it into a core position, and then you just, at the end, you decide, okay, this is where we're going to put it, and you try to work it into your own composition. But I definitely would prefer to have the Lyra on my team.
You know, I feel like they could have picked up many other things. Like there's Lance available, Finn was available. You know, there's a lot on the table there for them. And for Snow Avalanche there, I really want to be seeing them applying the pressure that they have, because, you know, Weapon Vox, he reaches his spike a little bit earlier than that Crystal Vox does. And we've got that Koshka. Bastion, he's going to be taking some damage though.
Yeah, Bastion eating a bit of damage, but he has that heal, and he's going to be putting more points into that Gift of Fire as well. So we're going to see really nice burst heal coming out of him as time goes on.
Yeah, and I really do like the poke coming out from Salsiska as well.
Yeah, it's going to be just a little bit of poke back and forth, trading here. Now, look at me, has made his way up to lane. He's going to get onto Waldemar. Waldemar slowed up. Forward barrage damage is there. One more shot. Yeah, that's going to be first blood going over to Snow Tsunami to start things off.
Yeah, that was a really nice body block coming out there from Bastion, but just wasn't enough. You know, we saw all the might of all three heroes from Snow Tsunami trying to get him, but, you know, I think this is we're seeing Cruel being played a lot as a hero that can gank. You know, they're just avoiding those jungle skirmishes. They know they can't win it against that Koshka. So what they're doing and what we're seeing is they're going up to lane, trying to pick up the kill on Waldemar. He's got that Sonic Zoom, but against all three of them with that slow and Lyra, it's just not enough sometimes.
Not enough. And you talk about just avoiding, but look at me. I mean, he gets over to the opposite side. He's able to take away these backs. Yeah, of course, it's great that Kentusik got Tsunami's backs, but that's a really even trade right there.
Yeah, it's very even trade. And actually, you know, look at the gold. Snow Avalanche minorly ahead. It's only 200 gold, not too much there. But I think we're seeing down the map where Kentusik's doing a good job of chasing us. Look at me, and he's out leveling him actually.
Oh, that burst, so good coming out of this Koshka. But this is the power of having Lyra on your team. That sigil goes down, you're immediately healed up and in fighting shape. I think the power of this Lyra Kroll combo really comes like when they're together. You're able to get on top of a target, you're healing, you're giving a little bit of move speed to that Kroll. He's able to stay on top of that target, build up those weakness stacks.
Yeah, it really does help with the squishiness. But Sasiska, he's gonna jump there, get jumped on.
Yeah, he gets jumped on. Bright Bulwark down right next to that turret. And hello, it is look at me, I am here. And they weren't looking at him right there. He's going to be able to find that kill. 2-0, Snow Avalanche in a bit of a deficit. Kentusik, though, very aggressive, jumps onto Araxi. Araxi going to have to move backwards, and it's going to be Kentusik overstayed himself. Look at me, finding 3 kills in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Well, he's making sure everybody's looking at him anyway. And you know what? I feel like at Koshka, she just committed a little more, could have picked up the kill on Araxi, and maybe running away wasn't the best decision, you know, gave up their life. But look at me, he's playing a very, very aggressive game here. And, you know, it's actually working out very well for him, as you pointed out, 3-0-0. That's a really nice KDA, especially for Cruel in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and it's more about the rotations, where we're going to see a bit of fighting. Waldemar trying to find some damage. Bastion's there, healing up these targets. Kentusik jumps in. It's Look at Me frontlining for his team. It's going to be a trade here, 1-for-1. As Look at Me does go down, but 4-1 in favor of Snow Tsunami at this point. I don't think that, like, the way you would look at this as you're looking at Look at Me, he's been coming in as the fights are ending, and it's just really nice rotations for him to realize, okay, someone took a lot of damage in this fight, I'm going to come into it now. I've been taking their jungle. It's just really nice timing on his movements.
Yeah, he's really good at picking those moments and when to go in. And I've got to say, you know, that really does come to my point, is that Snow Tsunami, they just seem so much more organized as a team right now. I'd say Snow Avalanche, they seem a little bit scattered. They aren't quite working as well together in this game as I've seen them in the past. And I really want them to pick up the momentum, just start working together a little bit more, because that's when we're going to see those epic team fights.
Yeah, definitely. Well, these guys, they know each other incredibly well, and they know the tendencies. To know the tendencies of your opponent, it makes for those epic fights that you're talking about, where we talk about teams dancing around each other. They're just moving, forcing someone into a bad positioning and looking to take advantage of that. So Siska and Araxi moving as a pair back up to the lane. Kentusik jumps in, but that Bright Bulwark's down, instantly cancels the aggression off. So Siska just heals his team right back up. And you can see Waldemar going for this breaking point, probably into the Tyrant's Monocle build that's been most common.
Yeah, it's a very common build. It works really well. Tyrant's Monocle gives a lot of critical chance and the damage and the breaking point on top of that. You know, it's just very easy to build up those stacks. And actually, this is quite a passive game that we're seeing coming from Snow Avalanche, and I'm a little bit disappointed to see that they didn't take advantage, but that Hell's Heart!
From Hell's Heart on Waldemar, Bright Bulwark's down. Can they get him? Look at me, he's eating a lot of damage. Hops down that surfboard, repositions. But it's Araxi finding pretty good damage right there. Kentusik jumps forward, almost going down. One more shot, he would have. It's Look at Me that's dead in the Asian Sasiska. Whoa, he almost Bastion with the boost for it. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Now Bastion dips around to the south side. Waldemar very low. Kentusik as well. They can't really commit here. Can Araxi find a double kill? He avoids the silence. Gets one, gets two. Araxi, but Bastion, no mercy. Comes right back up from that rotation that he just made. Able to secure that kill, but very nicely played by Araxi to get that double kill.
Yeah, very nicely played. I think that was maybe a little bit too greedy coming out from Waldemar and Kentusik. Very nice attempt though. But Bastion, he's got to look at me on him.
He's dead.
He's dead, yeah.
Rip. I mean,
Or not.
it's just a matter of time right there. There's nothing you're gonna do. You're in Adagio. You're not in a core position. Yeah, he's holding onto the fountain, but with such low respawn timers, you know you want to be able to have that fountain when you get back out on the map.
Yeah, and Waldemar, I think he needs to be a little bit more careful. But anyway, I feel like Snow Tsunami, they're definitely ones picking up the kills, and you can see that from the scoreboard, 4-7. They're ahead. They've got a little bit more gold, and you can see from this rotation, they are really moving much better as a team.
Yeah, definitely. And as we look at items here, I'm not sure that we've talked about this, but Frostburn on Araxi, maybe you touched on it, maybe not. Do you like this item?
I feel like for this one, he could have just gone for a very high damage output. I would have personally gone for a Shasta Glass myself, but the Frostburn, it will still work because we're going to be seeing that Koshka jumping on him. But there's one thing that Snow Tsunami could do, because Koshka, she's perfect against Sky. Sky doesn't do well against assassins, and all you need to do is have Sasiska right next to Araxi, and whenever someone jumps on, throw down the bulwark, and that negates a lot of the movement coming from Koshka.
Yeah, definitely. Those quick reactions right there. Death from above is going to come out, just clearing out this minion wave, and it will make Snow Avalanche a little bit more hesitant to apply pressure moving forward. Bastion looking to get that Gift of Fire down so they can just be a little bit more powerful in these fights. And it's not going to really lead to too much here. It looks like Look At Me wants to go back into the jungle, continue to farm, but Yummy Catnip Frenzy blocked off. Bright Bulwark's going to put Kentusik in a bad place. So he strike forward. Araxi looking for the angle, but so many minions here just eating that forward barrage damage very nicely. Look At Me did use boots to get here. It's going to be Shiver Steel applied. Kentusik jumps back in with that Pouncy Fun from Hell's Heart. Not the one he was looking for. And it's a cheeky play, but not going to land at the end.
Yeah, it was a very nice defense coming in from Snow Tsunami. You know, Snow Avalanche went in with a might of all 3, but Snow Tsunami 2v3 were able to defend. But Waldemar, he's going to get jumped on.
Yeah, rest in peace, Waldemar. 407 damage coming out right there. And Look At Me's scroll really starting to come into its own as he's got this overdriven Spectral Smite. So much damage comes out of this ability.
Yeah, and Look At Me, he's diving hard for this Bastion. Or not. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, it really looked like he could potentially go in there. And maybe if you had that sigil ready to come out of Sasiska's Lyra, he could have potentially dove there. And I think it's the smart play, though. Just go ahead and pull off a little bit, apply some brakes on that aggression, reset. You can always do that on your next rotation.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, if we look at Koshka's build, so we saw Pavatora playing that Koshka in the first, I think the second game of their series in the last series. But, you know, he went for the Aftershock, he went for the Broken Myth. We're seeing the different approach coming from Kentusik. One that we're probably more used to seeing is going to be that Shattered Glass and Broken Myth. And that's going to be offering a lot of DPS.
How does that change your play style?
Well, the way Pavatora was playing, it was all about the cooldowns. He got the Halcyon Chargers. He was using his skills as much and as often as possible. For Kentusik, every single hit, every single skill he uses is going to deal an insane amount of damage. But I feel like we're just not seeing that right now. He's not getting the opportunity to jump onto Snow Tsunami. Their offensive is just incredible right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. And well, Look At Me is going to be scouted out with that flare right there. So you know, he wants that element of surprise. Not going to happen for him. But Kentusik just waiting around until he thinks that this Kroll has disappeared, because if he moves in, lands a slow onto the Adagio, it's so incredibly hard for him to get away, especially without having boots. From Hell's Heart onto Waldemar, Death from above, fall right on top. And it's going to be the Silence landing on 2. Waldemar barely getting out of that one. Snow Tsunami using a lot of abilities there, but not able to find a kill. And now it's going to be Kentusik looking to find some aggression right here. He's going to be buffed up, healed up, getting in fighting shape. Bastion, he's going to let loose that burst. It's blocked off by Sasiska. Nice job, but Look At Me still goes down. Now it's Waldemar. He had a little bit of breaking point stacks built up there, but they have fallen off. He's sitting on low energy and low health. While they have won the fight, I think they still have to back up and be quite careful here.
Yeah, I think Goldmine's going to be the main target here. And actually, Waldemar and Kentusik, they're both looking a little bit low, so I don't think we're going to be seeing a Goldmine attempt just yet. But in that fight, I've got to say, I was really impressed by the way Waldemar was able to stay alive, even after that very long Hell's Heart coming out from Look At Me. And, you know, that silence just changed it all. It prevented anyone from Snow Tsunami jumping straight onto him afterwards. And that was a really good defense coming out from Snow Avalanche. Really good, happy with that one. And I think we're beginning to see that teamwork that I was talking about a little bit more. It's beginning to shine through.
It definitely is. And, you know, talking about things coming together, we've got a Bonesaw on this box. Now, this is not one of the more common builds, but I think he'd be effective here.
Yeah, Waldemar, he's always gone for the more unconventional builds. He doesn't actually have that much weapon power, but, you know, we can see, Look At Me, he's going to be going for the pauldrons. And what we have been seeing, actually, in the past 12 minutes or so is that, look at me, he's been jumping us onto Waldemar a lot, and if he gets that pauldrons, he would try and apply that. So that bone saw is definitely be helping a lot in taking down Snow Tsunami. Definitely.
I mean, I think the pauldron is such a great tool, and it's most useful for me, like when you have two people trying to land those basic attacks. It's still going to be great to shut down Look at Me's Kroll, but you still got to worry about Araxi.
Yeah, well, Araxi, he's been such a threat right now, but again, I feel like he could be doing a little bit more damage, and I think that could have been done if he'd gone for the Shadow Glass. The Frostburn's still working quite well. We can see it's, it's doing a lot. It's pushing Avalanche back, but I think at this point, if he'd gone for a Shadow Glass, definitely could have pushed a lot earlier.
Okay, well, it does make sense, and it looks like Avalanche, they've put a lot of pressure in this lane. It appears that they want to siege from Hellstar. Not going to quite land. That surfboard was a bit wild there. And Look at Me not going to use his boots to get into even a better position. I guess kind of forced into that because of this wall right here. He can't really get into that perfect position like he wanted to, but it's going to be a pretty significant cooldown on that ultimate.
Yeah, I just, I'm looking at this, and I just feel like the Adagio just isn't working as well as I'd want it with this comp. And, we're seeing Kenstig jumping in and then having to disengage very quickly when, if you had a different roamer, maybe you could follow up on that. And, Adagio, he falls off in the late game. Both of his teams, especially Tsunami, they're playing for the late game here.
So the fact that net worth is essentially dead even would be in favor of Snow Tsunami, you'd say?
I definitely agree. So, you've got the Cruel there and Sky, and there goes a fight.
Yummy Cat and Frenzy is going to be blocked off. Burst comes out of Bastion, stuns up Look at Me, but they are winning the fight as far as damage output right now. Let's see Kentusik jumping in, so Siska eats that damage, but pops that fountain, keeps him in fighting shape. Waldemar's low energy. It's Bastion. He is slowed up by that Frostburn, eating a lot of damage. Araxi building up these Broken Mist stacks. Suri strike forward. It's going to be the main from Alice coming out, but Araxi finds that damage. Waldemar should be short to follow. Can it get some damage? Yes, they can. So Siska coming through with the basic attacks there, and this is going to be a turret going down. Snow Tsunami starting to take control in this game.
Yeah, Snow Avalanche really got punished hard by Snow Tsunami in that game, and we can just tell it just really didn't work out well. I think they took 2 or 3 kills there. Yeah, and you know what? That was just not a good fight there for Snow Avalanche. But one thing we want to point out is this Aftershock, this very unusual hybrid build we're seeing coming up from Waldemar. And I think the only person I've seen in the Evil 8 who actually consistently picks up these hybrid builds is Waldemar.
I don't know how I feel about this. I am conflicted. We'll see later. But Bastion, that's maybe not the play you wanted to make right there. Moves into the brush and is going to be eaten alive right as Kraken spawns out on the map. Couldn't have been better timing for Snow Tsunami. And actually, well, hello, looks like we found a wild Waldemar here. A Sonic Zoom. He is holding, boots up in 1 second there. He should activate boots any time here. Nope, not going to get a chance. Stunned up and just chopped down. Avalanche, I gotta say, kind of questionable plays in the last minute here.
I thought they'd been bringing it together, but I think it's just beginning to fall apart again. I'm just not seeing the Snow Avalanche I really wanted to see in the live championships today. And Snow Tsunami, they're looking, by far the more superior team. They've been working really well. They've been chaining their skills together extremely well. And 12-5, 15 minutes, gold still quite close, but they're ready to get the Kraken, and they're probably going to push 1 or 2 targets at this.
Oh, easily. And if they're able to find a kill, more than that, right? Like if they get 1-2 kills, like you're just going to continue, to snowball right down and potentially even take this game. Things really heating up here for Tsunami at this point. I don't know what the angle is that Avalanche try to take their way back into this game, but it is Bastion and company moving forward as Kraken is just unleashed. It looks like all of Tsunami able to get into a good position, take advantage of that regeneration, and you got to be quite careful, Bastion, as Look at Me looks to get that heroic perk up. He wants Waldemar. It's going to be Death from Above coming down, and that's going to Atlas coming out, but it's not enough as Look at Me finds the can't kill this man. This Kroll, absolutely unkillable. One kill on to Waldemar. It's actually Araxi credited with that one. Look at Me. Yeah, just kill.
He's died 3 times.
Kraken's pretty good. Not in this fight.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Got the Kraken, got the ace. This is pretty much everything they want, right?
I mean, I feel like what we're happening, and we're going to see this in this replay right now, is that, Bastion, he's very out of position. He's got Look at Me on fire. And we see Look at Me jumping straight onto Waldemar. Look at those weakness stacks going. The Verse of Judgment does come out, but it's just not enough. Look at Me, he's staying alive. Thanks to that fountain, thanks to the sigil coming out from Lyra. And, he's doing an absolutely incredible job there. The heal, the sustain coming out from all 3 of these players is absolutely insane. And we're now on to the last 2 towers for Snow Avalanche.
Well, we had a couple 30-minute matches in that last series right there, but this looks like it could be closed down to under 18. Snow Tsunami still alive, Kraken still in fighting shape, although she is getting low. Bastion eating a lot of damage, Raxi just strafing around, does not care at all right now. Now look at me, will eventually go down, Kraken falls as well. Let's see if Avalanche can take advantage of this, but Waldemar, he has no energy. Can't pulse, can't sonic zoom. This is a really tough situation to be in.
Yeah, I think they probably shouldn't chase this one, but they have to be wary that Crystal is completely exposed, and it's gonna be so easy for Snow Tsunami to do a team secret and just run straight past them. And you know, I like what they're doing. We're seeing Snow Avalanche going to the side of Snow Tsunami, preventing them from sneaking past. But Waldemar, he's still a little bit low on energy there.
Can you theory craft for me just a little bit with the aftershock here?
With the aftershock?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm thinking just offering him a lot of burst potential. I just don't think it's working very well because he doesn't have that much weapon damage, and he gets this occasional burst coming out from the aftershock. And frankly, those fights just aren't lasting long enough to build up those breaking point stacks or those bonesaw stacks. And I think if he just committed to one single build, it would have been a lot better. But you know, I can see where he's coming from. He's trying to get that burst out onto Look At Me there, but it's just not working, man.
I mean, if that was the call, wouldn't it make sense to have like a Sorrow Blade just so your upfront damage is better? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, and maybe I'm just missing the point on it. But you know, Waldemar, this is honestly though, like, I actually don't even care like if this is the wrong build, but this is why I love Waldemar. He's not afraid to take these kind of risks,
Fun guy.
make these plays, and like when he was standing in lane earlier and he barely gets that silence off, but his team did win the fight. He's the kind of guy that makes those plays.
Definitely. Snow Tsunami, I think they're wanting to finish the game off now. Sent to the Crystal. Here we go.
Oh, look, and he's going to move forward. Stuns up, getting Tusik. Verse comes out of Bastion. Blocked off once again. Such a good job to block all of these verses coming out. And Raxi able to get into a better position that Tusik cannot take advantage of. It's going to be Look at Me just locked onto Waldemar. Just cannot get him off. Life leeching him away. Double kill for Look at Me right there. This guy maybe doesn't want to play on this team, wants to manage, but every time he is in these matches, just making it happen. 8-4-6 on this Kroll. 20 minutes into this match, they move in. This is going to be Vayne Crystal going down, and Snow Tsunami taking game one.
It's a very dominant performance coming out from Snow Tsunami, and I've got to say, Look At Me, he really put out all the guns. Very aggressive performance from the start. He was able to maintain that, and one easy win.
Look at the stress on his face. He appears that he's never had a moment like this before in his life.
What a stressful game that was for them, wasn't it? He just can't handle it.
Another day at the office. Kentusik's just wondering why he didn't pick Ozo, I imagine.
Let's not talk about Ozo.
I didn't bring it up once until this point.
That is true. Maybe we'll see an Ozo for the next game.
Game away, it feels very fast after our mouse sports dilemma.
Yeah, those games were quite long compared to this last one, but we do head into the draft already with Snow Tsunami and Snow Avalanche. Samuel coming off as the first ban.
Yeah, Samuel's going to be not available for either of these teams. Definitely an expected ban at this point, you know, even anytime he does get through. But that's a Fortress ban for Snow Avalanche. Maybe either throwaway ban or just feeling like Tsunami maybe had something up their sleeve looking for that Fortress.
I mean, teams have been talking a lot about this pick in the tournament, kind of pulling it out. And if you're trying to seal a game, using Fortress can be a good way to do it. It's hard to respond to that kind of pressure. But with the Adagio coming out, Lyra on the other side, the double heal comp will not come through once again, which I am a fan of. So we'll see what they pair up with the Lyra. Kroll coming in. We've seen some decent things with the Kroll and Lyra combo. It hasn't been the strongest, but we kind of understand the idea behind them going in with Portal.
Not only that, but taking the Kroll away from Look At Me. Definitely a comfort pick for him. But there are still plenty of other options that Look At Me does enjoy playing and has had great success on. So we'll see if maybe we get one of those throwbacks. But it's going to be a Skye for now. And this last pick for Snow Tsunami, there's a lot of ways they can go with this.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to put the Adagio in the roam position, but with the Lance and Adagio on the board, it is a little bit of a toss-up. We're not really sure where they're going to go with it. I'm not going to use that as my my guiding mark.
Yeah, especially not from Look At Me.
But now that we look at the Avalanche side as they choose their last pick, it is going to be the Scarf. So a little bit of a front line with Kroll, Lyra for some protection behind this hero, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, Humanist isn't going to get his Snowzo coming out.
Nozo, not today, Humanist. I'm sorry, but you and Jinyi.
Season are we in? Is this even summer? I mean, we haven't seen this combo together in a long time, but this is one I'm a massive fan of. EU They made this.
I don't know. Honestly, like, I might have blacked out. I'm not sure how we got so quickly into the second game. After that secret series with Mouse, it felt like it lasted forever. And here we are. Snow Avalanche, the 3rd seeded team up against Snow Tsunami, the 7th seeded team. They're down 1 game. They can definitely come back in the series. They can claim it for their own. I do think they're very talented, but the way Tsunami came out in game 1, they looked really good.
Yeah, Snow Tsunami, they looked unstoppable. And, you know, here's Snow Avalanche. We see Waldemar on his scarf, and I would say he's arguably one of the best scarfs in Europe. The only thing is, you know, that is all about getting to the late game. Last game, they just did not get that opportunity. So for them, as long as they can defend, maybe they can do this.
All right, well, you're going to have Waldemar on the scarf. You know, for all we know, he could be coming out with a tornado trigger build. I wouldn't put it past him. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, he probably gets into that standard scarf build, waits for the late game. And if they can make it there, that would probably look pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I definitely agree with you. You know, you've got that Cruel as well. That they're both very late game heroes, and actually, it looks like Snow Avalanche, they're being a little bit bold.
Or who's being bold? Kandusik impaled, eating a lot of damage, forced to use his boots right away. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go this way. That's not cool, guys.
You know, I'm surprised Snow Tsunami are letting them get away because he's got that lifesteal. He can easily take away their back camps. Maybe we're going to see Sasiska follow him?
Yeah, Sasiska looks like he's rotating over. Well, Look at Me will stay on the opposite side. And I think this is really smart. You just send Sasiska back and Araxi. And as opposed to the last game where we said they were trading very evenly, this is going to be a much more favorable trade for Tsunami.
Yeah, that was good. You know, it was really good that we saw Araxi rotating down, but what was important is gave Waldemar the chance to push into the turret. We can see he's probably going to be getting some amount of damage onto that turret, and that's really important. He's out farming by about 6, not too big a difference, but it gives him the chance to teleport home.
Yeah, he's able to teleport back, and then they won't be able to apply that pressure. So Bastion moves up into lane. He's going to look to just hold this for his ally. And looked like he maybe wanted to apply some pressure, but not with Sasiska hanging around. You're burning from that gift of fire. And Sasiska applying a lot of pressure. But Waldemar, he has made his way right back out into this lane. And we'll just get right back into farming here.
Yeah, Bastion just needs to watch his positioning a little bit better. You know, I would say that he's a little bit more comfortable in that Lyre than he is on that Adagio. So maybe we're going to be seeing a little bit more fluid game coming out from Avalanche here. But Snow Tsunami, they're also going for that Roam Adagio. You know, this is not something I'm a massive fan of. I feel like it just doesn't work particularly well. And maybe Snow Tsunami could prove me wrong, but I just don't want to be proved wrong.
Don't do it. Don't prove Shinny wrong. Oh, Look at Me with the Wild Impale. Not going to land, but the Githian Wall does. And Waldemar lands a Spitfire and a little bit of damage with those basic attacks as well. Takes him down, but Sasiska ready to heal him right on back up. And it appears that Look at Me will be going for the Tension Bow. Would you think he goes Tension Bow, Solar Blade this game? Does one make more sense over the other?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, we've got this Scarf, especially if you can land the hit on the Scarf, it's going to be so useful. But for Kandusik, maybe not so much. We see a lot of Cruels going typically very tanky, and you know, Tension Bow just doesn't do that well against a lot of health. So maybe a Solar Blade straight off would be better. But you know, we've seen a lot of Cruels doing Tension Bow, Solar Blade. So it's been working well so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to slip up there after a couple long casts like we've had back to back here. And Bastion holding this lane down. Activate that sigil, give himself a little move speed and some healing. I love Lyra as a hero right now. I think she adds so much, and I think strongest definitely in the roam position. We've seen so many players out here just using her to such a high level.
Yeah, definitely. You know, those bulwarks, if you mistime them, they can be just so bad. But against a comp like Snow Tsunami, especially with Sky, who's got a lot of mobility, having that bulwark down inside is going to be very important. And, you know, we're seeing it in action right now. Right
there. You're slowed up by the goop, the bulwark. You have to deal with so many slows. And now Kandusik smells blood. He actually booted to try to get in position there. Can he get enough? The Dead Man's Rush on cooldown. Asvo. Oh, no, it's not enough. Heartbreak. Look at Me. He's going to live through that. Gets a heal. I'm not sure if he had a potion there as well, but barely living through that. Araxi will be eating a bit of harass damage out of Bastion because of this, and there's just a little more space for Waldemar.
There's definitely a little more space for Waldemar. He's doing very well in the farming. You know, Scarfs, I think, struggle a little bit in the early game, but he's managed to keep up with Araxi. But Kandusik, I think he's trying to make some moves here, but I don't know if Snow Tsunami will let him here.
Trying to put some moves on Tsunami in the jungle. Let's see if he can do it. Githian Wall, not the one you're looking for. Look at Me.
Oh, he's not going to get you.
I gotta wonder, like, what is going on with Look at Me's impales? That's really I don't know, off the mark there. He's maybe not as practiced on this lance as some of our other players.
You're not feeling it?
Not feeling it, man. Kentusik able to get out of there, though, thanks to Bastion.
Yeah, he is going to be able to get out there thanks to Bastion, thanks to that heal coming out from the sigil there. But you know what? It was a bit of a failed invade coming out from Kentusik. He didn't get the minion. He lost a lot of his health.
But he got me to go savage on Look At Me, so...
That's what really matters when it comes down to it.
That's really... It's all about the morale.
You're destroying it. What are you doing, man?
You can see it. Well, Snow Avalanche, they're going to continue to just farm up. They want to get into the late game. Is there a certain minute marker? Is there a timer that Tsunami are on? A certain level for Avalanche or item progression that we should be looking for in this game?
For Tsunami, Look At Me. He's got that tension bow. I would argue he got it very early. That would have been his very good spike. He can deal a lot of damage with it. But unfortunately, he's just not finding the hero to deal the damage on. So I think in maybe another 5 minutes, his spike will go past. But Araxi is going for that Frostburn. Yeah, again, I feel like Shourglass would have been a little bit better, but I can see why he picked it against Cruel. But right now, these two teams are having a little skirmish.
A little bit of a skirmish, but the thing is, Avalanche are right next to this turret. They cannot commit. Wow, it's actually crazy that Sasiska picks up that kill. Waldemar eating a massive chunk of damage, throws a Spitfire. He is really pushing it to the limit. Waldemar, like I said before, I think this guy, he pushes it to the limit almost more than anyone, and that's what makes him so fun to watch.
And that's what I was saying, that tension bow. We saw the tension bow proc coming on Waldemar. Look at me!
Okay. Seems good, man.
You didn't look at me. Come on. Just I jest.
He did not respect the damage output coming there. I think that was really a wild play.
That really was a wild play, being a little bit too greedy there. He did a lot of damage to Waldemar, but didn't respect that Bastion was able to heal him up to almost full health there. And actually, as a result of this, we're going to be seeing Snow Avalanche picking up the gold mine. Maybe we'll see Araxi rotate down to try and steal it. Doubt it.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty bold move. Immense gold payout going the way of Avalanche and starting to pull ever closer to this very, very minute net worth lead the way of Tsunami at the moment.
Let's see some caster math. How much is it? Can you do this?
I'm play-by-play.
Well, it's actually, so Tsunami, they're joining the lead. Waldemar. Oh.
That's
all I can say.
We'll turn around with that ultimate. Look at me eating a lot of damage. Beautiful. The verse does come out. Actually quite effective out of Sasiska. But Avalanche in a great position to apply this pressure, and it's going to be Bastion with those basic attacks, just slowing and harassing Araxi and Sasiska. Kentusik just waiting on the edges for someone to be in a vulnerable position. Of course, that from Hell's Heart, it's going to be on cooldown, but Waldemar can still poke with this Spitfire. Sasiska slowed up just a little bit. There's actually so much just innate ability to slow with this team right here. Bastion eating so much forward barrage damage. If Araxi had target lock, he could have easily gotten into position to find some kills there.
Yeah, but I think Bastion, he's not in a position to fight, and Snow Tsunami, they might be going out to pick up some new items or get their infusions. Probably not infusions, but more items. But they do need to be careful right now.
Definitely need to be careful. And I'm just looking at this. Yes, it's 75 to 75. It's just dead even in the lane between Waldemar and Araxi right now.
Kentusik keeping up well as well. He's 35 to Look At Me's 40. It's not a bad difference, especially considering that, Cruels, they don't really farm that well in the early game. He's helping a lot with his teammates. And this game is already looking a lot closer than that first game between these two.
It definitely is looking a lot closer. Avalanche, they've got a comp that they just have to buy some time. And if you're even, you're essentially ahead when you got a composition like this. Of course, you can make mistakes. And we saw that Tsunami, their ability to play as a team is incredibly high. And Bastion doing a nice job to avoid getting engaged on here, but Kentusik, he's made his way up from Hell's Heart, lands onto Araxi, the goop's down, Dragon's Breath as well. Well, he'll turn around and melt Araxi right there. Bastion just standing his ground. Look at me with that combat roll to try and get into a better position. Boots are going to be on cooldown. Githian Wall's only going to buy you so much time right there. 461 damage coming out of that Spectral Smite.
For me, that fight was all about that Hell's Heart coming out from Kentusik. Very long range, hitting Araxi, who had that reflex block. I just don't think he saw it coming, and that was really nice. Waldemar, following up with that Dragon's Breath, and that Dragon's Breath, he's one the kind of person that tends to overdrive that. It's all about the shield pierce. It's all about the Dragon's Breath from him. He really utilized it so well, and they were able to pick up 1 kill there. No, 2 kills actually. I was wrong.
Okay, math, numbers and things. Waldemar with the Frostburn Eve build now. A lot of times we're going to see the Broken Myth inserted in here before Eve. Do you agree with this?
You know, I'm not a fan of the Frostburn. I'm going to come out and say it. He's against a Lance and Adagio. They're very slow heroes. Their base movement is very slow. Iraxi, he's got a little mobility, but he can easily stack up on the Broken Myth stacks.
But aren't you kind of amplifying that in a sense?
Yeah, but you know, they're easy to hit anyway. Why try and make them even easier to hit when it's already easy to hit? If you're playing at this level, you don't need that shark. You don't need that Frostburn.
I mean, it makes sense. I just playing devil's advocate there a little bit. Waldemar, nice block right there from Hellsart's going to land on to Look At Me, turns around with the Dragon's Breath. He's just getting chunked down. He'll take a little magical portal ride, get himself into a better position. Sasiska stands his ground. They block the first. Great job out of Avalanche. Both of these teams, a lot of nice plays in that engagement right there. And the whole time, Iraxi and Waldemar just staying in the back lines as they should.
I definitely feel we're going to see Snow Avalanche. Their comp is beginning to come through. They are definitely doing a lot better in these team fights than they were doing at the very start. And you know that I think we're beginning to see Snow Tsunami falling off. That Adagio roam, this is what I mean about Roam Adagio. He begins to fall off in the late game.
Yeah, well, it's barely the beginning of that kind of talk right here. I say we're starting to approach some mid game, but it's quite tough, as you said. I mean, if Snow Avalanche are coming online right now, things are just going to get scarier and scarier. What approach does Tsunami take, in your opinion, as they look to engage these fights, as they look to take control of this game?
I think they need to put a block that Hell's Heart. We've seen a lot of teams struggling with it so far. And actually, you know, even if you have Lance, Overdrive is Githian wall, so he's immune to all debuffs if he does that. He can actually act as a very effective front line there for Iraxi. And I think the way this comp should be playing out, Look At Me have a very tanky build who is able to effectively frontline for Iraxi.
All right, makes sense. We'll see if they can do that. I think, like you said, if they can block off that front house hard, it's going to be huge for their team. Kentusic's build it's clean. I like his itemization. He's like, I got my Aegis, I got my boots, I got my breaking point. I mean, what else do you need here?
Nothing.
That's going to be Snow Tsunami moving up. From Hellsart onto Iraxi. Bright Bulwark from Bastion with the portal forward. Can they lock Iraxi down? And it's Waldemar just burning down onto Look At Me. Iraxi does get himself into a pretty good position now. If he can land that forward barrage damage, as they are split up, Look At Me. Nice Githian wall to buy a little bit more space. As you get later in the game, that's really what he wants to be accomplishing, but at this point, can he find that damage? Iraxi just forward barraging, doesn't have that target lock to move forward aggressively with the Suri Strike. Now Look At Me, he's got to be careful. It's the Spitfire, turns around, a lot of damage coming out. Now Snow Tsunami, I'd say you got to get yourself out of here, tuck tail and run, because Avalanche are coming at you. It's going to be the Sigil used to boost up their move speed. Dead Man's Rush moving forward. Easy kills coming out right here. And Iraxi, well, unless he just goes absolutely legend status, he's going to be going down very quickly here. And it's just going to be a couple attacks coming out. And that's the ace right there for Avalanche. So I say everything really coming together for this team.
A very clean, polished fight from Snow Avalanche. And you know what? I think the biggest mistake was Snow Tsunami trying to pick a fight in that narrow channel. Waldemar, he may not have had that most energy, but he had enough of that Spitfire. And he knew he was going to land it because of that narrow channel. They might not be able to get that turret out of this, though, which is probably not what they wanted. And I think maybe they could have gone for the gold mine instead and get that 150 gold. So we're going to be seeing them going on. So 26k gold on the side of Snow Avalanche. They're about 3k ahead. I feel like they could have pushed a little bit more out of that, just gone for the gold mine, as I said earlier. But I think Snow Avalanche, they're beginning to take control of the game now.
Yeah, they definitely are. And while you're taking control, I think, you know, maybe you don't always have to take an objective off of it. You can always move back if you're not 100% comfortable. Just make sure you're clearing the minions out of the jungle. That's what Avalanche do. They make sure that they pick up the items that they need. So the next time they get into an engagement, it's going to be really favorable towards them. One of the things, let's see if they actually want to fight here, but one of the things I don't particularly like, but you see quite often, is Waldemar, like, he booted out from base just to get there. So when he gets in his engage, doesn't have boots available. Raxi, stunned up, Dragon's Breath. Well, apparently it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I like at all. Waldemar still making the plays. Look at me. He is just on a sliver of health, and will be very shortly to go down. Bastion, portals forward. And it's not likely that Sasiska gets out of this one. Basic attacks coming out of Lyra. He's going to be slowed down. Kentusic is there. And that's going to be Sasiska going down. Yeah, that's the ace. Second ace back-to-back for Snow Avalanche, a team that already has a better late game composition.
Yeah, you're going to see this the moment where Rex gets stunned by the From Hell's Heart. Waldemar comes in with that Dragon's Breath. You know, he's got 5 stacks in the Broken Myth. There's a lot of shield pierce on it, which explains why he does so much damage. And so Siska, there is just sadly no escape there. You know, they've got the portal, they're using it, they're utilizing it, and that slow coming out from Bastion, you know, really enables him to pick up the kill onto Siska there. And another very clean ace coming out from Snow Avalanche. You know, it's 10-2, and Kraken is now out.
This feels like just a losing battle right now for Snow Tsunami. Like, yes, you can kind of slow down Avalanche as they look to close this game out on you. I just don't know how they win it. I'm sure maybe we're about to get a lesson from the pros here, but look at me eating a lot of damage from Hellstar. It's going to come out. Kentusik not landing it. Looked like he was going for one of those long, super long range stuns. Araxi jumps forward. Bastion eating a lot of damage, uses War Treads. Dragon's Breath's going to be coming out of Walnar. It's landing onto 3. Oh, well, Araxi used to exist. Now he's dead. Spitfire goes down as well. Sasiska, last man standing for Tsunami. And, yeah, double kill right there for Waldemar. That's the 3rd ace in a row. And these guys can basically do whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, 3 aces, and it comes down to that Hell's Heart every single time. There's something wrong with Snow Tsunami's positioning. They're not body blocking that for Araxi. He is their main damage dealer. Yeah, sure, look at me. He's got that Tension Bow, he's got that Sorrow Blade, but Araxi, it's all about Araxi for them. They should be playing around him, and we're not seeing that. This is the reason why Snow Avalanche, they've had 3 back-to-back aces, and they're about to get the Kraken off.
But it's also Araxi putting himself in a bad position. I gotta say, like, he did Surrey Strike quite aggressively into that position.
That is true, but your team, you know, this is a team game. They should be adjusting around any mistakes, and we're just not seeing that, and we're just seeing him being punished even more for their mistakes.
That's true. A lot of truths here. We see CP
dealing out the truth.
Coming in. Kentusik just handing out truth cards here. Waldemar is infused up as well. And it looks like they're going to take a little bit of the jungle away as they move down into position here. Kraken's going to be marching down this lane. And if they play this right, this is going to be GG in favor of Avalanche. There's definitely a chance that Tsunami stay in this game, but we're only 17 minutes in, and just Avalanche, what a dominant performance this game.
Yeah, you know, I think we can definitely argue that. And Waldemar, we're going to be seeing him as he's building up those stacks onto Look At Me. He's got 3 Broken Myth stacks, and when he's ready, we're going to be seeing that Dragon's Breath coming out.
All right, Bastion with the boots forward, the Bright Bulwark, maybe just trying to snag them in position that they can follow up on, but Look At Me moves forward, finds the root onto Waldemar, from Hellsheart onto Araxi, and now it's going to be the Dragon's Breath from Waldemar. He's just melting Araxi. He doesn't quite find the kill. Look at me, he's still looking for him, but he gets chunked down. That's Kentusik finding the kill, and well, don't forget about this Kraken, who's basically single-handedly chunked through
oh my gosh.
crystal turret. These guys, they're just trading back and forth. This is going to be Avalanche's game here in match number 2. And this is going to be going to game 3, Snow Avalanche. We know these teams stacked up against each other very well. They know each other's tendencies, and Avalanche just exploiting it here in game 2.
Yeah, you know what? They definitely looked like a much better form than they did in the first game. You know, that first game was just very shoddy coming out from them. This game, they certainly upped the ante. And I think for the 3rd game, it's going to be very difficult to say. Tsunami are in a very rocky position here.
Well, Waldemar, he didn't come out with one of those crazy builds. I guess you could say, you know, questionable, right? He didn't get into the Broken Mist, so it's still not your standard build you see all the time, but it definitely worked here.
It definitely worked, and for him, Waldemar, he's got a very unique way of playing, and I really love when he plays those crystal heroes, crystal mages. And for him, he utilizes that Dragon's Breath so well. You'll see him standing in the back line, building up those Broken Myth stacks, and then he'll come in. It doesn't matter if Tsunami builds shield, he destroys it.
Player, that's what you're saying, Fuji. And well, game 3, redeeming chance for both sides.
Yeah, as we go into the draft here, we're gonna basically take a look at what these teams can bring in it to win it, because this is where it all needs to happen. This is the final game for these two teams, trying to figure out how they can get their ticket into the semifinals tomorrow as Cruel comes off the table and Samuel on the other side.
Yeah, Avalanche not wanting Look At Me to be able to play that Krull, but also not wanting to have to first pick it for themselves. So they're going to go ahead, ban it away. They take the Adagio off the board. Hopefully it will be a carry Adagio this time, because we have seen a few roam Adagios coming out this weekend, and mostly today. but we haven't been terribly impressed by many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the mentality of you take it away from the other team, but you don't really play it in the predictable carry position. But who cares if you can predict it if he's as strong as he is? You might as well just run what is the priority. We do see Lyra coming over, once again splitting up the potential for a double heal comp with a frontline bruiser that's been quite successful so far. And the second pick for Tsunami coming in here looks like it's going to be the Sky.
Yeah, Sky, again, a lot of priority on this hero here in Europe. Has a very high pick ban rate thus far. Win percentage is a little bit closer to even, actually, depending on which team gets their hands on it. But a lot of Crystal Sky here in Europe as opposed to the Weapon Skies we were seeing in North America.
Well, and up until this Glaive lock-in, we actually had a bit of a mirror match of the first draft in terms of the Adagio pickup. But with Lance, once again, the question is going to be, who is the flex? Is it going to be the Lance roam? Is it going to be the Adagio roam? We have seen Glaive roams. It's been a pretty long time, but it is still a possibility.
Yeah, Glaive's recommended build, actually, in-game, is to go, whoa!
22.
We'll touch on that later, maybe after this one, but
Yeah.
that's a big pick.
Yeah, Alpha.
I don't know where else to go with that.
Well, we're going to see if he can make it all happen the way you describe it here. And it looks like it's going to be Bastion on this roam Lance. And we haven't seen Lance actually in the roam position too much. Not many players. I mean, you see maybe Rex, Mowgli does it occasionally, Flash, but other than that, not too many guys playing Lance in that position.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And you know, when you do see a Lance in the roam position, they do typically pick up that weapon blade because they do have a lot of base damage there. And guessing it early, if you're able to land that Impale and Githian Wall, it does a lot of damage, and you really can help you win those jungle fights.
Yeah, it definitely can. And see, one of the other things is the clear is incredibly fast. So you're able to get to the shop so much quicker. And Snow Tsunami, they actually had a very interesting first rotation where you see they take the forwards from the bottom side and actually pull it back to their own side. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, well, we're about to see a failed gank there. There's a lot of potential coming out from Snow Avalanche for those ganks. You've got the Afar, so as a laner, as that crystal jungle, that crystal burn, you've got the Impale. There is a lot of potential there. There's so much peel there for Waldemar as your laner. He's in a really good position just to stay safe. Yeah,
definitely. Just stay safe. Waldemar, we've seen him play this Adagio before. I feel that he does excel a little bit more on a few different heroes, but it's actually Kentusik moves forward, steals away that Treant. Look at me, he's going to be healed up. Well, I wish Sasiska would have popped that sigil to give his buddy a little bit of move speed. Look at me with that Prime Directive, jumps forward, eats a bit of damage, Bright Bulwark down to control the area. But that reduced duration, it's, it doesn't last very long there. Sigil's going to heal up his team, give them that boost they need to reposition. It looks like laners will happily go on their way right back. Actually, Rex, he's going to go back to base, low on energy, buy some items, and get himself back to lane.
Yeah, and I think in that, that was I don't know if that was a fight, that wasn't even a skirmish, it wasn't really anything, but regardless of that Snow Tsunami, I think, Sasiska and Araxa came away from that with very low energy. They used a lot of their, expended a lot of the energy just trying to pick up kills, but nothing really came of that, fight.
Skirmish,
I don't know.
Fight, whatever it was. Sigil down means Sasiska can just poke from range right there. Well, not really, actually. With burning from that gift of fire, and Waldemar able to just apply that damage very nicely there. And you're going to see, I think it's all about positioning when you see those trades right there in the lane. Look at me. Prime Directive forward, Kentusik's there. That Scout Trap's not going to actually land. It's going to be a defensive afterburn. And look at me, just kind of knocked backwards there. Bastion's going to have to realize his ally does not want to fight, not in the greatest position to do so. It's going to be Avalanche going back to their own side of the map. But as far as these compositions, the way they all play out, do we see one team scaling better than the other?
Alpha is I think she's a little bit more mid to late, but the only problem is about Alpha going into this composition is, she's really great at closing the gap, just diving straight onto that Adagio, who she should be jumping onto. But the problem about that is you've got this Lance and you've got this Glaive. They've got a lot of peel, she uses her Prime Directive to get onto him. All they have to do is afterburn her away, it's going to make it very difficult, and I don't know if it's going to work that well, there might be...
But devil's advocate, if you're afterburning or trying to control Look at Me, then Araxi's got free reign.
That is very true, but then you've got that Impale, and you've also still got that Githian Wall, and the cooldowns on those two skills, they're very short. He can do them as, very, very often, and he can easily use it on Look at Me and Araxi.
Well, let's see if they can make the plays here. It's actually Kentusik not getting that chance, and defensively afterburning once again. I would expect this aggression coming out of Avalanche, but it really hasn't netted them too much. I mean, a bit of net worth building up on their side, but they're not finding kills. They're not really snowballing off of it.
Yeah, they're getting, you know, there's a good defense coming in from Snow Tsunami, and part of it does come down to Lyra. She's got this area of effect healing, and they're, you know, they're utilizing her sigils very, very well, and that's the reason why we're not seeing Snow Avalanche making too much, you know, headway with their invades. You know, regardless of that, Waldemar, he's kind of out farming Araxi, not by very much. It's only about 13 at this point, but 4 minutes, that is quite a significant difference, and you don't really want to get that gap increasing anymore. But either way, they are pressuring the turrets right now.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, that's pretty significant difference, and if he can keep up with that, it's going to be a big deal for this team. Minion Mine going to be captured up on both sides here, as it's Kentusik grabbing his own, and Snow Tsunami just hanging out in the lane. I think Bastion, he's really just looking to poke. Eventually he'll land an Impale. If they land the Impale and Sigils down, it almost definitely spells a kill for them, but otherwise Sosiska just holds on to that ability.
Yeah, we've been seeing her using it really, really well, and not only for the heal, but for the movement speed and just helping them get away from Avalanche here. And one thing, you know, you've got to be worried about that Impale.
Oh, there you are. But the Bright Bulwark down should mean that they're not able to follow Araxi, eating so much damage from Waldemar. I love the aggression coming out of Waldemar, of course. He can just heal himself right back up, stay in this lane. Now, look at me. He's going to be stunned up. Bastion, can he follow? He has the Impale, but not willing to actually throw it out there. Of course, Infinite Reboot still available for Look at Me. I think that's one of the things, you know, we got to mention with this alpha. When you get level 6, that's a really big deal. When you can control when and where you're going to have that Infinite Reboot. If you're going to activate that Termination Protocol, it's really nice.
It is really nice, and it makes it very, very frustrating. And sometimes what you see is you see a lot of people focusing on trying to take that alpha down as fast as possible, when actually, you know, when she's rebooting, you should try and switch your focus to the Sky instead. And then once the Sky is dead, you know, you can just do whatever you want and just kill the alpha.
Definitely. I love the Lance into Sky. I think Sky is very vulnerable to getting killed off if you get impaled, just a very squishy target, and she typically doesn't want to build much defense other than a reflex block, so oftentimes that will be a great target for you, and then you can clean up from there. But as far as, like, well, let's see. As far as the way that Alpha wants to fight, how do you approach that? Especially, like, there's a very different approach when you go from, like, weapon to CP Alpha, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think the CP, she's got a lot of burst, and we see a lot of CP Alphas building that aftershock, but with weapon, you're looking for a little bit more consistent damage. And the thing about Alpha is she's very sticky. It's very easy for her to get straight onto the carry, and if she builds a Shiver Seal, you know, it's going to be even more effective. You know, as I mentioned before, the only problem is you've got a lot of peel coming out from the side of Snow Avalanche, and if they can force Kentusik to use his afterburn for something else like this...
Well, rooted in place, but Sosiska with that sigil, very nice, but Araxi, oh my goodness, the aggressive Surge Strike's almost getting him into a bad place, but look at me, has Termination Protocol ready, he's going ham right now. Who does he want, Kentusik? No, he's looking for Waldemar, and that's going to be popped right there. Can they get enough damage? It looks like they can. First blood going the way of Snow Avalanche. Now they're looking for Mercy. Sosiska's going to go down. Things are falling apart for Snow Tsunami right now. Bastion doesn't have Impale. If that was up, Araxi was almost surely dead.
Yeah, and I think, well, almost surely dead, yeah. But the problem in that last team fight was, I think Look at Me just went a little bit too deep. He dove right into the middle of the three. Afterburn coming out here on Kentusik.
Yeah, well, rest in peace, Araxi. I think you got to realize when that turret's going to die, you really can't do much to save it. Just forward barrage from range. Be a little more careful there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think Look at Me, he almost looked like he was going to try and be a little bit greedy there. I'm glad he didn't and just went for the minions instead. But, you know, things are looking really good for Snow Avalanche right now. They have a very strong lead, you know, by 3k and it's 7 minutes. They're going to get the gold mine, which is going to increase that even more. And their fights are going so well. We're seeing some really fluid, some really nice fights coming out from them. And I feel like we're beginning to see Snow Tsunami struggle.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of struggling happening here. As they have 3-0 and a significant net worth lead being built up for Avalanche. And I think if they continue to play as they have, it's going to just keep building upon that. And Bastion did a good job with that, getting Wall to buy some time, but Waldemar apparently not really respecting the rotations that could have come out. Fountain keeps him in fighting shape. Maybe it was the play all along. The route on to Look at Me is going to be that Termination Protocol activated. Waldemar, well, that should be enough. Oh, just out of range. Kentusik actually on the backside finds Araxi. And it's Waldemar. Does he go down? No, he doesn't. They kite backwards. It's actually Sosiska going down. And Look at Me will be able to get himself out of there. But it feels like they were just baited into that one.
The plays in that team fight, you know, it started off so bad for Avalanche, I've got to say. Waldemar was so far forward, just taking that forward barrage like, you know, like he shouldn't be actually. And he just shouldn't. He shouldn't be that far forward. But never mind about that. It was when we saw Look At Me going in with the termination protocol, that Githian wall coming out from Bastion, that was clutch. That was pure clutch. If he hadn't done that, Waldemar was definitely going to die.
Definitely going to die. But Bastion making the plays there, and you know, he talked about earlier in when we did the interviews, he was like, or what's the strongest thing about your team? Well, they listen to me. So Bastion maybe making the call there, just stand your ground, Waldemar, I gotcha. And he surely did there. So very nice plays coming out of Avalanche thus far. I thought, you know, coming into this, it is so hard to say which team is actually better. They really stack up against each other incredibly well. I think Snow Tsunami may be a team that communicates better, makes better team fight calls, but Avalanche just able to make these mechanical outplays.
That's the thing. You know, looking at this matchup, people are like, everybody's heard of Snow Tsunami, but if you look at the individual players on Snow Avalanche, they have a lot of collective experience. I think they've all played on the live stage, but here's an engage coming out from them.
Yeah, Bastion booting forward. He's going to be off the mark with that impale. And leaves an opening for Snow Tsunami. Let's see if they can take advantage of any of this. I think Avalanche, you got to be careful. Don't want to engage around this turret too much. Katusik eating a bit of damage here. And it's going to be Look At Me. Just trying to find that positioning right there. He does have termination protocol available, trading with Katusik. The defensive afterburn, not really what you're looking for. Twisted Stroke does a little damage onto Araxi, but that's the termination protocol activated. Was that the infinite reboot right there? It doesn't matter either way. He will be rebooting. That's going to be the first coming out, and rip! There goes your Alpha. Look At Me is dead, and the rest of Tsunami are on the run. Snow Avalanche just absolutely controlling this game from top to bottom right now.
Completely, and they're really taking advantage of that termination protocol. And I think that part of that does come down to Araxi's fault. When Alpha is rebooting, that gives you free reign to try and get that damage down onto the Avalanche. I'm just not seeing it. You know, you've got such a good opening, and they're not taking advantage of that. They could try and pick up a 1 kill, but they're just letting them have Look At Me.
they really are. But you know, honestly, the way I'm watching this, and I don't play Alpha that much, let's be real, and we don't see Alpha all the time, but it feels like he's playing it like a CP Alpha.
It really does. You know, he's got that breaking point, but he's really not that tanky. He's going in, expecting to do a lot of this burst damage, but he just doesn't have the defense to, you know, survive it. He may have that, you know, infinite reboot, but so far, it's not doing too much. It's still very easy to burst him down.
Like, yeah, it feels like he's forcing out the termination protocol, or forcing out a position where they can try to take advantage of that. Other than that, I think, like you said, they probably scale a little bit better, so just sit back, allow yourself to stack up on that breaking point, and go to town. So let's see if he can. Also, I don't know if you agree, well, Atlas Pauldron could be a good item for him. Look At Me frontlining for his team with Sasiska. The afterburn there, Araxi, very low. Waldemar, he's going to target him down. A couple basic attacks should be enough. Well, they turn around on Waldemar. Can they get the healing out of Waldemar? Keep him alive. It's the fountain out of Bastion. Perfectly timed. Termination protocol's not going to be enough. Katusik finding the kill onto Araxi. Things are falling apart for Snow Tsunami. Look At Me. You gotta run, my man. It's gonna be boots activated, but they should be able to follow Bastion with that combat roll. Oh, just abusing the mobility out of this lance. They impale him, and he's gonna be chunked down 8-0. Snow Tsunami, what's going on? This is the first time I've seen Look At Me sit up the entire series. This guy, oh, now he's leans back again.
He's chill. He's chill. He's completely chill about it.
He's chill, man.
But you know what? Alpha, it's just not working right now. What you want, and we just didn't, you want him to be building a little bit more defense. He's got that kinetic shield now. He's got that co-op plates. Unfortunately, you know, he is 0-3-0, and they are very, very behind right now.
Waldemar's in the zone right now. You can see, like, when he starts playing like this, he has, like, such a look about him when he starts getting super serious about games. And I just feel like every single time, like, if he's on the lead and he's really focusing, oftentimes it's just GG for you. This guy.
He's just getting to Super Saiyan mode. Let him be.
Okay, I won't put any caster curse on him right now. I'll leave that to Fuji. That's Fuji's business today, as Forecourt was teasing him about that. But let's see if these guys can find a way to throw this or not. Snow Tsunami, they definitely have a way to win these fights. It's just them taking the proper fights. I feel like they've actually been forcing this quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, they've been executing this comp really well, and you know, this is something I said I wanted to see from them at the start, was this peel. I wanted them to be peeling there for Waldemar, and they're doing it very effectively. They're catching Araxi out, just like that. Well, that's Look At Me.
Well, just like that. Katusik, but he's in deep right now, and Look At Me has 2 lives to on. He doesn't activate the termination protocol. all, he's down 9-0. That was not what you were looking for. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kentusik, I love this guy, man. He just smells blood, goes for it, no hesitation. That's what you gotta do right there.
Alpha, just not being an alpha. More like a kappa?
More like a... I'm done. I'm done.
Humanist is out.
You got it, take it away.
What? No, this is not my job. Wait, this is. But yeah, Snow Avalanche, they're dictating the pace of the game. They're looking for the fights, and they are getting these fights.
They are indeed, and you are just on it today, ma'am. I gotta say, it's been a pleasure casting these series with you.
Every time.
Having fun. They're very exciting as well. I mean, we couldn't have asked for many better series, and of course, this going to Game 3 as well, as you easily could have predicted. Snow versus Snow, the matchup so well here. The Avalanche, they're in a great position. I just feel like if they keep approaching these fights as they have, it's just going to continue going their way.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you know what? Look at those scout chaps. Look at the vision they have established. This might be a little bit bold. They're going to go for the gold mine. Snow Tsunami know about this.
Yeah, Tsunami. They had a feeling this was happening. Flair's going to come out. They do have vision on everyone except for Kentusik. Kentusik waiting in the back lines. He's looking for Araxi, most likely Waldemar. He's going to let this burst is going to be enough. It's actually blocked out. Look at me. He's got the infinite reboot again. That was, well, I don't know if that was the termination protocol or not, but he's going down. Araxi, rest in peace. Sasiska, he's the sneaky sausage sneaking out towards the west. Nothing he can do except for try to teleport home. And this is going to be right on time with the Kraken.
Right on time, 11-0. Things are looking very dire actually for Snow Tsunami. That Kraken is probably going to be taken. I don't think we're going to see any steal for it now. And what we're seeing now is Snow Avalanche, they are so far ahead. With thumps.
In almost every sense that they could be ahead, they are ahead. Ahead in kills, the net worth, in morale, item build, item progression. You look at levels as well, they're winning in every category.
Exactly. So I feel like sometimes when teams get Kraken, if they're on the winning side, this could be make or break, because I feel like teams kind of lose their focus, and this is a really good opportunity for Snow Tsunami to try and win it back. Unfortunately, the way they've been playing in this last game, I doubt it, but I live in hope.
It's all right. You can dream. You can dream. Let's see if Snow Tsunami can capitalize on their own dreams to turn around a major fight and knock Avalanche off here. It's Bastion and team taking this turret down. Kraken in great fighting shape here. Bastion needing a lot of damage off the bat. Maybe not what he wanted. Raxi, afterburned into a bad spot. This is the thing about fighting in your base. You just heal right back up. They're right back out on the map. Holding Crucible, holding Found. Sasiska jumps in, gets the Atlas off. Pretty good job thus far. I don't know if it's enough. There's only one turret remaining. Avalanche looking good right here. Araxi goes down again. Sasiska can't do anything. And this is going to be Avalanche closing out the series on their sister team, proving that they are the better seeded team for a reason right here. You know, when this team came out of the Challenger Series, a lot of people didn't give them the respect that I thought they deserved. They are so talented, and it is really exciting to see them pick up this win here.
That was such a confident win. It's just so gratifying. You know, that first game in this series just did not go well for them. But I've got to say, what a game, and that has to be a landslide victory there.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm blushing now. I'm blushing.
Oh, we don't have the camera, but she is indeed blushing on that one. You see, look at Bastion touching the trophy as he walks by. He's like, this is mine.
This could be ours.
Put my scent on it right there. Oh my goodness. Nice series between these guys. It's a little bit quicker, of course, than that Secret Mouse series that we had earlier, but still very exciting.
Yeah, that was, what a game that was. I'm so happy. But you know what? Again, it's not the end of the road for Team Snow Tsunami here.
No, it's not. They're going to be able to still fight for their tournament life, and I think, you know, we could definitely see this team moving forward. Very, very talented. Well, we've got a couple guys up on stage right now. We're going to hear about this series. I believe it's Waldemar and Action Jackson.
Thank you very much, Humanist. I'm here with Waldemar from Snow Avalanche. You guys just took down your sister team. This is obviously your first time getting to the live championships. You came up through the Challenger Series. How does it feel to beat your sister team here?
Well, we actually not first time on the live finals. But okay.
With this lineup, I should have been more clear.
Yeah, well, it was really hard. After first game, we was not in best situation, but we decided to change our draft. Instead of stupid picks, pick what we can play best. we took our signature heroes, and that helps.
Yeah, I can imagine. So when it comes to the boot camp that you guys did on Snow, do you feel like that's given you a big advantage coming in? You've both performed very well so far, and Tsunami, of course, are not out of it yet. They could come up through the losers bracket.
Well, I think bootcamp is giving a lot of good drafts, positions, and team play. Exactly, team play. And both teams, of course, got some good stuff from bootcamp. And you can see it. I mean, even Tsunami, they was on the down of bracket of seed, but they won against second seed. Well, I think we have good chances.
So you're looking forward to the semifinals. Do you think you guys can pull through and make it all the way to the finals?
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
All right, thank you very much, Waldemar. We're going to pass it back to the analyst desk now to break down that series and move on to the next one.
Waldemar, let down your hair.